Welcome back to Rockstar 101. His name is Brandon. He is the DJ.
His name is Shim. He is the Rockstar. Class is in session. And I have a real quick question for you.
Broom.
We found out in the last episode, one of my teeth got popped out. It's been a fake tooth since I was 10 years old.
Yes.
I have a scenario for you.
Okay.
You're in the bathroom. You're going pee.
Yeah.
You're looking over the toilet.
You're going to pee.
Playing around with your tooth. It falls out.
Right.
And it lands in the toilet. This is your only tooth.
Yeah. The only one left. You've lost the rest?
Like, this is it. Like, you're not going to get another one here for at least another week or so. That tooth, are you fishing it out, and are you just going to try to clean it and put it back in your mouth, or are you calling it a loss and it's gone?
What's in the toilet?
Pee.
No, you take it out. You take it out. You take it out. You sterilize it. Then you have some serious thinking to do. You have some serious. You got to talk to yourself. You got to really come to terms with a few things in your soul at that point.
Well, because as I was just going to the bathroom and I'm looking down, and I'll go like this a lot, where I kind of take my bottom teeth and
you'll mess with them.
Yep. And see what happens.
Yeah, show me. Yeah. Okay.
Knocks it out.
Okay.
And as I was doing that, I started to do that, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
It could fall. In the toilet.
And I was like, because the whole time I was like, "Oh crap!" Like it's going to pop out, and it's going to fall in the toilet. But
have you ever had a conversation with someone where they were like, "Oh, this thing happened," and you ask them questions as they're going, and they don't need to answer the question because their face says it all?
Yeah.
Okay. So I remember. Mark, the drummer of the band, not the original drummer of the band, Mark Goodwin, the guy who was in the band for a few years touring, or still in the band, I guess. Anyway, point being, he was on the bus and he was on his phone and he said that he dropped the phone. He was like, "Oh, I dropped my phone," and I'm like, "Oh," and he didn't say anything. He didn't really say anything. He just said, "Yeah, I dropped my phone." I said, "Oh." So what? Like, did it crack? Like, why are you telling me? He was like, "So did the screen crack?" He was like, "No." I said, "Well, where were you?" I said, "Were you on the toilet?" And he just went. I said, "Oh, you're on the toilet. So you cracked it on some tiles." He went, "Oh, you were sitting on the toilet. Oh, it fell in the toilet." And he didn't say anything. I could just tell by his face. I was like, "Oh, it fell in the toilet." I said, "Was it full?" And then the face was like, "Yeah." I said, "Pee or poo? Was it pee? Did it fall in pee?" And he was like, "Oh, poo." So you dropped your phone in your own shit. And he didn't say anything. I just was able to piece it together. I'm like, it happens. Shit happens. Something like literally. but I remember his face, just like the whole conversation took about 5 seconds where he went from, "Yeah, I dropped my phone." And he was probably going to take a couple of minutes to come around to being like, "Dude, it's fucking embarrassing. I dropped my phone," and some shit. And you got to get your phone out. Like, you've got to get your... Even like, you can't leave it in there anyway. Like, no matter what happens, if you drop your phone in the toilet, the first instinct is, "Oh, grab it, just fingers, get it out of there." And then he had to deal with it. I don't think it like landed in the shit, but like I switched off the conversation the moment I was like, "Oh, you dropped your phone in the toilet while you were taking a shit." And that makes sense. You're holding it there, you're on the toilet, slip straight down into the fucking toilet. Like, I'm sure it's happened to a million people who don't fucking talk about it, but it's amazing the things that you can drop in the toilet. The other thing that you don't want to do is take a piss at a urinal while you're doing this. Because if one of those little bits smacks up, if you ever pissed at a urinal hard, you can hit your own tongue by accident. I did that one time when I was a kid, and I realized when you're doing it, what happens is when you're a kid and you got the urinals, you piss on the urinal and you shoot it all the way around.
You got to remember. There's a lot of people only listening to this,
right?
So we have to describe what you just did.
Sorry. You stick your tongue out.
Is where you just kind of take, not like a full Michael Jordan tongue sticking out, but you just kind of, it's like a little bit comes out the corner of your mouth, like
yeah,
like
I don't know. Yeah, and the other thing, and you definitely don't want to be cleaning the toilet when you're on your hands and knees and you're scrubbing the toilet every couple of weeks. Giving the toilet, you don't want to be, because I do that when I think. I've done that. I did that when I was older one time. And don't worry, it was a clean toilet. It wasn't like you're cleaning the toilet while there's some dookie in there. But you're cleaning your fucking toilet. And what do you do when you're cleaning random toilet bathroom shit? You're just thinking about other stuff. And when I think, I stick my tongue out the corner. I'll just be like, I'll just fucking play with my tongue a little bit, not realizing that I'm doing it. I didn't realize until a bit of fucking toilet water splashed up on my tongue, and I was like, ah! I fucking lost it. I was like, no!
Screaming bloody murder.
Oh god! Even though the irony is that water is probably cleaner than anything else in that moment. You've just scrubbed it. It's
probably.
like the chemical fucking the amount of stuff in there to kill everything, but it's still toilet water. Like if I was cleaning the sink, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. But because it's a toilet, you flip out. Anyway,
Did I ever tell you? Hold on, I gotta.
Okay, all right.
Did I ever tell you about the time I had to fish my wife's retainer out of the garbage can
No.
in a public place?
No. How did it get in there? What did she do?
So
I know what happened. It was parenthood.
Huh?
It was like parenthood where she left it on the tray and then it got scooped up into the toilet, into the garbage.
Nailed it. Yeah, so she had braces when I met her, and then she ended up getting rid of those, especially for,
Oh no. Ah, fuck, I know what's going on. Hold on. How do I do this? How do I do this considering that I'm recording it? You're going to have to wait, guys. You're just going to have to just skip forward 1 minute on this thing. Guys, you on the internet? Let's try it again. See what happens. It should be working. Come on, Brandon. Where are you?
Good Lord.
Was that my fault?
Because I can hear you. I can't see you. I don't know. My Skype is completely shut down for some strange reason.
Okay, so it was you. All right, good.
Yes, and I can't see you, but
Well,
can
I can't
you see
see
me?
you either. Nope, I can't see you either. I can't see your face.
Let's see here. There we go.
There we go. All right, so I
There
don't
it
know.
is.
Should I stop? Oh, it's really slow though. You're just a pixel. You're just
Shit.
one big fucking pixel. And your face is so angry right now. You got the stank face on. There it is. There, you're back. Okay, something went wrong on your end, I guess. So
Okay, 'cause I
the
was wondering if
question
you
is,
wanted me to...
do we stop and start again, or do I?
No, we'll just pick it up. We'll just pick it up from here. Like we'll just like I'll. All
right, so I'll have to edit it.
Pick it up. Yeah.
Okay. Or not. I'll just fucking leave it. I don't give a fuck. With
Yeah,
the
just
YouTube
leave-
thing,
yeah.
with the YouTube thing, they can just scan through. It's funny. I went out to check because my kids are watching the iPad while they're having their breakfast, and I the general rule is while Daddy's working, you watch pre-recorded videos. Don't get on the internet. And I went out and I was like,
same thing in this house.
yeah. And I was like, is anyone using the internet? And my son just looked at me and went, ah! I was like, I fuck, okay, but I'm live. I need a question. And then my little girl followed suit. She was looking at the thing and she just looked up at Daddy and went, ah! And fucking started losing it. So I got two kids screaming it. I'm sure they heard it in the microphone where I was like, shut up for a second. Anyway, what the fuck were we talking about? You were about to tell me a thing.
I was telling you about how I had to get my wife's retainer out
That
of
was
a
it.
garbage
Yeah.
can. So we did a thing before we got married, and this was so that we could get married in the Catholic Church. It was called Engaged Encounter. Encounter, something like that. Anyway, so it's just a thing where it's the couples, you go on this retreat, and it's you and maybe 20 other couples, I think is what's there. It's for a weekend, and really all it is they kind of give you a workbook, and it has questions about how are you going to approach these things in your marriage and things like that. It's something to kind of give you a base. So like if things ever get rocky in the relationship, you can kind of always go back to this.
Right.
So we're at lunch, and it's in this cafeteria. And my wife wasn't quite used to having her retainer yet. So, obviously when you have a retainer, if you're eating, you pop it out. But she wouldn't it's disgusting. You don't just leave it sitting out for everybody to look at, right? So she would pop it out, and she would leave it kind of wrapped in a napkin so that you couldn't really tell. The only problem is she would forget that it was there.
Yeah.
And so this one time she forgot. And all of a sudden we're sitting there, and we're kind of chatting with everybody else at our table. And then she gets that look on her face, and she was like, my retainer. And I'm like, oh no. And she's like, yeah. She goes, I think it's in the garbage. So we go back over there. It's one of those big bins, and it's where it's underneath a counter. Like there's a hole drilled in the counter where you throw all this stuff, but it's just a bin sitting in there. So we open that up, we pull the bin out, and it's like 15 minutes have gone by, and like 30 people have thrown their lunches away since. So I start digging.
Yeah, and that's romance right there.
And it is disgusting. It was so goddamn gross. But I'm like, "Ugh." But you know what? I found it.
Of course you found it.
I found it. We cleaned the hell out of it. I got applause from everybody. Not really, actually. I pretend in my mind that I did. But yeah, that moment right there. That's where I was like, you better, like, this is how much I love you.
Yeah.
Like, we're here for marriage. This is proving it right here. Me digging around.
I did those classes too. It's funny. They give you these. They're like, you go to the church and they're like, oh, so you're getting married. You're going to need to do 3 classes. I'm like, 3 classes? That's it? 3 2-hour-long classes. One of them's with a priest, which is more like a meeting with an accountant, where they're like, I need you to verbally say that you created an agreement with the other company in order to get that tax break, whether it's verbal or and so the Catholic Church is like, so are you aware that what till death do us part means? Can you verbalize what your understanding of that means? And I'm like, yeah, you don't.
We're together till I die.
Yeah, but they need to hear you say it if they're going to let you in the church and do the thing. Like, so it's like a fucking weird interview. And then the thing that I remember was like, I remember thinking like, look, I had a lot of work to do before I got married because I've been on tour most of the time that we were together. And so I was like, well, whatever, the burden of work on the relationship is on me because I've been the one who's been gone all the time. So I'm going to these classes, I'm doing this fucking shit. And I remember there was a woman who was running the class that was like, there are going to be times, and it was the one thing that I think she said that the woman needed to do in the relationship, or that the woman should take initiative to do, when she was like, I know for me, it really helps my weekend if I let my husband go out for a few beers on Friday after work. And then we just have dinner half an hour later. And he goes out for a couple of beers with the guys. And then when he comes home, he's lost some of the week's stress and he's had a bit of chance to decompress and all that sort of stuff instead of...
A little more chill.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this is great. She's telling my wife to let me go and have a beer with the boys, right? And then I remembered, I don't work a regular job. Fridays mean nothing to me. And I have no friends. So I'm like, this doesn't apply to me.
Yeah, I'm your one friend, dude, and I live like 4,000 miles away.
It doesn't work with, like, I have no one to be like, hey, do you want to get a beer? I'm like, sure, give me like 3 days. I'll see you in 3 days. And fucking...
That's what we need to do, by the way, when we get on Twitch, when we do Rockstar, because the thing that we had talked about is that we're going to do one recorded one that we're going to upload as a regular podcast, and then we're going to do live Twitch streams. We should have it like hang out and have a drink with us.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. We can do live. We can do all the Rockstar 101s live once we get it set up, and then we just push record and stop recording at the right time and upload it to YouTube anyway.
Later,
yeah. It's really quite easy. And that's the best way to do it because it saves time. So the point being is I remember that one class, that was what I took out of it, where I was like, I thought I was going to learn this whole spiritual thing of like how to balance it. I'm like, oh, you're just... everything was... The final sentence on every point that she made was, do your best to chill out because it's about to get real. You're getting married? Shit's about to get real. Basically, just find your mechanisms to chill out. And she was like, for me, I find if I just give him space once a week after work on Friday, give him a couple hours, that helps. And I'm like, yeah, that does help. It's great. But I was like, but where's the secret? I thought there was this thing of like Catholic spiritual Zen, And she was like, nah, just let him go have a beer and fucking walk it off. Shake it off and then come back to the chaos that is the fucking household with the wife and the kids and the debt and the fucking nightmare. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's what I remember from it. I'm going to pivot, okay?
Pivot!
Pivot! John McClane had a plan! John McClane had a plan! So... what do you know about the live concerts that bands are doing now? They're playing now that the concerts are definitely off till next year. I saw Papa Roach is doing one. Trivium's doing one. What do you think about it? What do you know about it?
I honestly don't know a whole lot because I haven't really looked into it. But I can Google it right now and see what we can find. So they're having one. Oh, they already had it.
Is it a festival or is it multiple bands doing multiple different shows?
They played Infest in its entirety. Oh, that's shit. That's right, because this was the 20-year anniversary,
Yeah.
and they were going to do the
Yeah.
whole big thing. Oh, that sucks.
Dude, they should just fucking push it to next year. They should do the exact same thing and just do it next year. It's not their fault.
No, they should. That's a great album,
It's
man.
a
That album
killer
is,
album.
like I'm
Timeless.
telling you, like I say this all the time. I would say it on Loudwire Nights. I say it on the morning show. I say it on here. Dude, Papa Roach somehow I think is still underrated. Like they're an amazing rock band that keep belting out hits.
Yeah.
But somehow people still don't remember like as good as they are. Like any show that I've gone to with them.
I think that they're
I
doing
always
okay.
hear somebody going, I forgot that was them, or I didn't know they played that. And it's like, yeah, they're a good goddamn band, man.
Yeah,
Pay
no,
attention.
but keep in mind they have like if you look at their numbers, like they've got something like 8 million Facebook followers and like 100 million streams on multiple songs. Like I think the people who do know Papa Roach are aware of it. It's just that like, I mean, what other bands? Let me ask you this: what other bands comparatively to Papa Roach do you think are getting more credit that you think should be going to Papa Roach? What bands are you talking about? Like, give me a comparison where like.
What do you mean?
Well, you're like people don't give them enough credit. What band gets credit for the things that you're talking about that you think Papa Roach should also get? Like, give me a perspective.
Like in what kind of echelon should they be at? I
yeah,
think?
maybe, or like, should they be more popular? Should they have more number ones? Should they be at the top of the bill
Well,
more often? Like, what do you mean?
I'm not 100% sure because I just know that anytime I've gone to a Papa Roach show and whoever I'm there with, I hear all the time,
Yeah.
"Oh, I forgot that was them,"
Yeah, yeah.
or "Oh, they play that." And no, I'm not just talking about my wife because that's what she's notorious for. Like when we were at Alice in Chains, a song would pop up and she'd be like, "Oh, that's them." Yes, that is them, dear. But for Papa Roach, it always just kind of seemed there was a show that I went to in Florida, and I went with a few different people, and it was about an hour drive away from where I lived. The concert was, and as we were driving back, I remember one of the guys going, he's like, I totally forgot about all those Papa Roach songs, and we're talking about things from kind of like obviously Last Resort. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the one that everybody's gonna know. Generally, the new stuff off of whatever, and I think this is right around maybe when Scars came out. And so, but then there's all this stuff in the middle, like Getting Away with Murder and songs like that.
That's the one people forget about a lot.
Between Angels and Insects and Broken Home, like these are the songs that people seem to forget about a lot. And but then when they play them live, the people get sucked back in. And I think that, like, I don't know if maybe it's detrimental to Papa Roach because there's a lot of people who don't remember those songs who would enjoy going to the concert, or as we're talking now, a live stream, enjoy watching the live stream. But since they don't always, like, they forget about those songs, they're not inclined to do it, I guess. And that's just my gut feeling. I don't have any numbers to back this up. I'm sure Papa Roach does perfectly fine. That's just my gut feeling from all the concerts that I've gone to where they're there.
Yeah, well,
and
it's
I always hear that same thing.
Well, they've been around longer than everyone else. Like, if you put any other band, except maybe Godsmack, but
that's
like
the one that was popping into my brain, who has had that longevity, and their last album was amazing.
Yeah, their last album was great.
last album is.
Yeah,
I think we've talked about it on here. Like Godsmack really started in that kind of new metal era,
Yeah.
and they have been able to morph into just a legitimate, true rock band. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think one of the differences with, I mean, now we're getting into analysis, but like one of the differences with Godsmack might be that they have never changed their sound. He's never gone into doing some rap here and some other stuff there. Like every Godsmack record, you put it on and you're like, that's Godsmack. That's what they sound like. So that's me, by the way. Sorry, I'm going to quit that. So, and I was thinking about this just yesterday because I was like, what is the deal? And Papa Roach has tried, same as Shinedown, right? Shinedown has done some different sounding records, just a little bit, just enough to be like, okay, they're trying some different stuff. Godsmack is like the AC/DC of the last 20 years. They ain't changing. They don't give a fuck. They do what they do. They know that what they do works, and they write their songs.
See,
and
I don't know if
thing.
I would agree with that completely, because I think the last couple albums from Godsmack have been less kind of like early on, he was very much into that kind of growly, gravelly voice where he has become far more melodic with, When Legends Rise or Unforgettable or songs like this that have come out within the past couple of years. Like, I think Godsmack has done a great job of sounding like Godsmack, but not always being Godsmack, if you know what I mean. Wow,
That's
what is
my boy.
going on
That's my
there?
boy. He's just running around. He gets his endorphin rush from his hormones. He's 2.5, and he just runs around the house with his hands up, going, "Wah!" It's awesome.
Oh, that
And
was
plus,
great.
he'd heard we were talking about Godsmack. He loves Godsmack.
Does
So
he really?
no, he loves heavy music. Like I put on Master of Puppets, and he just starts moshing. He does the mosh jog, that mosh jog where you're circle pitting. He does that thing when I
Yeah.
put on Master of Puppets. He fucking loves it, and he just starts smashing into the couches. He loves it. He's built for fucking mosh pits. But that's the thing with going back to Papa Roach and Godsmack and those sorts of things. I think that it's interesting. You've got your Godsmacks, you've got your Five Finger Death Punch, right? The bands that always go number one. And I don't know what it is, but there is this larger than life sort of branding to them, right? They're a bit of the pyro, a bit of the fucking sound, a bit of the legend will rise lyrics and stuff like that, and the tone. Whereas Papa Roach is just sort of they don't have that particular element. They're a little more punk rock. They're a little more fucking rebellious sort of thing, and they come
Papa
that
Roach,
from that.
I think party. Like for some strange reason, like that's the kind of music that I could pop on at a party that people are going to get into. Like songs like "Born for Greatness" is a
Yeah, that's a
amazing
great
song.
song.
That song is fantastic.
Yeah.
But that's something that I think I could pop on at a party. I mean, obviously, if the people aren't into rock music or anything like that, then it might be a bit of a problem. But that's what I think of when I think of Papa Roach.
Well, I think it's interesting that they're actually called Papa Roach because the gag has always been that when the apocalypse comes, the only two things that'll survive will be cockroaches and Mick Jagger. But and it's funny because Jacoby
I thought it was
actually
Keith
called
Richards.
Keith Richards. My bad. But the thing is, like, Papa Roach is never gonna fucking die. They're never going to die. They're going to keep riding till the wheels fall off. They're always going to sound great every time you see. Like, and it's such a blessing to have been in one band for 20, 25 years because you just finish off each other's sentences musically. You don't have to tell someone, what if we play it like this? You breathe, the music comes out. That's why they sound the way that they do. But no one wants to follow Papa Roach live. And everyone in the rock game knows that you don't fuck with Papa Roach.
Man, I know I've said this over and over again, and I apologize for repeating it, but yeah, if you've never seen Papa Roach live,
they're amazing.
You're missing out.
And I think that's one of the things. I wouldn't be surprised if there was an element of like, you like certain bands wouldn't want them to come up and actually be headlining a festival because they know that if they take that top slot, you're never knocking them off. You're never going to out rock Papa Roach. And the truth is, I've talked to a lot of guys in these bands. My favorite conversation was with Ben from Breaking Benjamin, where he was side of stage playing after it was us, P Roach, and then Breaking Benjamin, and it was St. Louis, and it was a massive fucking show, and we're side of stage watching Papa Roach, and he was just like, I fucking told them not to put me on after Papa Roach. I begged them not to put me on after Papa Roach. I said, what do you mean, man? You're going to be headlining. He was like, I don't want to go on after this. It sucks. It's like, I don't want to, it's like, I don't, it's just, he was so defeated. And I was the same way. I said, yeah, I'm happy to be the newer kid on the block opening for you guys. I don't want to go on after these guys. I mean, but I was like, but you got mad hits. You're like, Breaking Benjamin was like, I don't care. I can't move around that much. I don't have the stamina. I love my songs and I'm great, but like, nah, I don't want to go on after P Roach. Fuck that. No one wants to go on after P Roach, dude. No one. But anyway, we're going back to this thing about live shows. We were talking about the live shows that are coming up, right? So from what I can tell, we've got about 10 minutes left. And I want to talk about this for a second because bands are doing, there's no ceiling, right? There's limitless ticket sales. You can go and buy a ticket to the Papa Roach show for $15. And it's a great idea once. Right, it's a great idea once because you do your show, and I'm sure the production of it's going to be amazing. It's going to look and sound amazing in a full recording studio, top shelf shit. They've been rehearsing it for a while, and they're going to do it live, and then it's going to be available to replay for 2 days. You're going to be able to go and see it for 2 days. The thing is, though, that once it's live, people can share their. I'm sure there'll be a way to hack it. People will be able to share their ticket. People will be able to get in. People will be able to record it on their screen. They can screen record it and screen share it and then play it on, live stream or whatever. And then they won't be able to do that show again. You know, I mean, you'll still go out and see them live. You'll go and see them live when they come out, but there won't be any sort of repeat. Like it'll be, they can't, like for example, they won't be able to do that show every week and sell more tickets to that show.
Like
It'll be a one-time thing.
You have to find ways. I mean, granted, the one positive is you're not going to ever be limited on capacity. Like you're not going to an arena that's going to have a capacity on how much you could sell out.
Yeah.
But
and
they'll
probably sell hundreds of thousands of tickets worldwide. They'll probably sell at least 100,000 tickets. And at 15, they'll make, you know, $1 million plus or more, couple of $1 million maybe if they really promote it well. But that's it. That's their whole touring cycle for the year. And that's great for them as one band. But every other band, what are they going to do? Like Papa Roach can sell those tickets.
And this is why I think, especially like what you're doing with your lockdown sessions and stuff like that, I think that is going to be one of the things that people are going to have to do, no matter how big the band is, because the one thing that you get when you're there live is you get to see them live. Yeah. I mean, I can go to YouTube and watch a live stream of a band at any point in time. I did that. I think I've told you about this. I downloaded a whole bunch of Big Day Out footage from like 1999, 2000 with like Korn and bands like that.
Yeah, I was always super
jealous. I was always super jealous, by the way, because I was like, oh, look at this. I was like, look at how many bands are there. But then I remembered, I'm like, oh shit, this is like the only time those bands are there. They don't tour down there actively all the time. Right. So the one thing that the bands need to be able to do is create that closeness. It can't be one-on-one per se. But you like what you're doing where you have your VIP sessions and you also have your lockdown sessions where people can purchase and interact with you directly. Yeah. That would be massive. Yeah. I mean, that would even be something that I would pay for depending on the price and the band. Yeah. If the band is willing to, I mean, we do that here. You did it here in El Paso at the Star City Studios when you performed some of your new solo stuff live. It's that close, intimate show where they'll perform a couple of songs. You can ask a few questions, and they'll perform. You know, and that's something that should be really easy to execute. Yeah. It shouldn't be too difficult because there shouldn't be you don't need a lot when it comes to the performance. I mean, generally, you're going to probably want it to be like an acoustic performance. I don't know if I want to hear. I don't know if I want to hear Papa Roach acoustic.
Yeah,
I want
that's the thing.
When it comes to Papa Roach.
It depends on certain types of artists. I mean, I'm very lucky that my songs can translate to acoustic and I can play that. And one of the best things about the VIP sessions is that the VIP sessions are limited right now to 12 tickets a person. And it's an hour-long session. It always goes longer. Sometimes they've been 2 hours. But we hang out and we chat, and I talk to everyone personally. I ask how the week's been, how you going, where you from, da-da-da-da. And we chat, and everyone who's comes back. They all come back. They all buy a second ticket. Some people are on their 10th ticket. And I really look forward to them. And the thing that is really unique and different about it that I think is the best kick out of it is that I'll put in, because I can improvise with an acoustic guitar. You can't improvise if you're playing a track. You can't improvise if you're on a live show with a 45-minute set. Mm-hmm. If someone tells me a story about how their drywall fell out of the fucking wall and they had to repair something, which happened a couple of weeks ago, and then it fell on their husband's head and they're off rest, they're sleeping it off because they had to take a Vicodin and now they're asleep and they couldn't make the show this week, I'll put that in the song. I'll rewrite the song live and do a little gag about how someone got bumped on the head, took a Vicodin, had a fucking nap because they don't want to go to the hospital. And then I'll crack a COVID joke because that's really you're not supposed to joke about the shit at the moment. But when you're in, you sort of feel the audience and you go, okay, what's your sense of humor level? And I'll be cracking jokes and changing the songs. And that's the main thing that people are paying for. They're not paying just to see you, just to talk to you. They're paying for the whole interactive experience. And you cannot get that anywhere else. You just cannot get it. Mm-hmm. And that's the first thing that I thought when I saw Papa Roach is doing a show. It makes sense because they're Papa Roach and Infest is at its 20-year anniversary. Trivium, because the guy from Trivium, Matt Healy, he streams and they're doing a show and they're putting it together. But I was like, if you're already streaming to mad numbers and doing stuff, why would you? It's the same fucking thing. It's the same fucking thing. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it.
I think a lot of it right now is it's experimentation. It's finding out what's going to work and what's not going to work. And because I know for us right now, and this is how we'll wrap up this episode because we're running out of time.
Yeah, we're on time now. Yeah.
Okay, so really, in the state of Texas is, and as we're recording this, it's just before the 4th of July, and they're starting to reclose things again because the numbers started to spike back up. They closed bars, restaurants were at 75% capacity. They were told to go back down to 50% capacity, and that might even get worse than that. And a lot of it comes down to the fact that people just don't want to follow the damn rules. And look, I'm going to say this here. This is not difficult. We can have an open economy and we can take care of things and we can actually do stuff, but you do have to wear a mask. You do have to keep your distance and you do have to wash your hands properly. If you follow those, we can open the economy. Limited, but at least things will be functioning. But it's these asshats out there who it's the same people. They pissed and moaned that we were closing the economy, so they protested that, God damn it, I need my hair cut, I need my hair did, so I'm going to go stand outside with the fucking AK-47 and protest this. Yeah. But now you're telling me to wear a mask, and I'm not going to wear a mask. Fuckhead, you're the problem. Yeah. You're the one that's creating this issue. You're the one that's closing things back down. All you had to do was wear the goddamn mask in the first place. But no, it's against my rights. Fucking babies, all of them. Anyway, going back to what you were saying, though, about the concerts and stuff, again, I repeat it. I think that what you're doing with the VIP sessions, I think what you're doing with the lockdown sessions is kind of going to be the way of doing things here for a little bit. And if you're able to do it and you're able to do it well, I heard your new computer is going to be coming in soon.
Yep, got the new computer, going to have multicam going on and better sound. And yeah, it's all stepping up.
And that's the cool thing.
By the way, sorry, let me finish before. Which, by the way, I want to give a shout out to the Rebels on Twitch because they paid for it. I put up a donation bar per their request, and they hit $1,000 within 3 days. They donated and said, "We love what you're doing. We want it to get better and see more stuff. Like they want to see how I play guitar and see what my amp settings are. And I don't have a multicam setup, so they paid for it. So it was fucking dope. Yeah."
So when we get that new camera in at Shim's place, we'll look to hook up some live Twitch streaming here on Rockstar 101. But on that note, we do have to wrap things up and hit up the socials here really quick. You can always find Shim over on his Facebook page. You can find Shim on Twitter. It is at Shimmore, SHIMMOORE. You can find me over on Instagram. It is at The Real Brandalorian. You can always drop us a message if you have any topics or any questions that you want brought up. A bunch of people have been finding me on Twitter. I am on Twitter. I'm just not as active. I mean, I'll respond to messages. I think I'm at bgoatcoats on Twitter if you want to find me over there. I don't remember.
You might want to give him the right one. Check it first, eh?
Shit. I knew you were going to do that to me. Because I don't check it as frequently. Or no, I do check it. I just don't post to it. It's at bgoatcoats. That's COATES, or the Brandalorian, I guess is the name as well. So if you want to, you can find me over there. I just don't post on it because I had to stop posting on Twitter after a while because I would just get drunk and challenge Floyd Mayweather to fights. So,
wow.
Yeah, I had to stop doing that for a while.
Fair
but
enough,
anyway, on that note, I got all the socials in. Yeah, we're good.
Okay,
His name is Shim. He's the rock star.
His name is Brandon. He's the DJ.
Class dismissed.